Let me now introduce you to our panelists. We have Mr. Buditi Rajshekar, Special Chief Secretary for Agriculture and Cooperation Department with the Government of Andhra Pradesh in the Republic of India. I would like to actually start the discussion with you, Mr. Rajshekar, because obviously your state, Andhra Pradesh, is famous. It is known worldwide because of your community-managed natural farming program, which I think showed the world that it is possible for governments to actually catalyze, large-scale shifts when it comes to land management. So it'd be great to hear from you, what are the incentives that you used? And when I say incentives, it can be economic, it can be technical, it can be institutional, that helped farmers, to shift their practices and adopt natural farming practices. How did you do it?
Thank you, Thinley Win. Excellencies, my distinguished co-panelists, ladies and gentlemen. Just now I saw the quote that land degradation is neither inevitable nor irreversible. Strategic investment in people, institutions, and land-friendly practices help in restoring land degradation. I think this goes exactly, fits into the, resonates well with what we do in the AP community-managed natural farming. First, the scale. It's almost 1 million acres, and more than 1 million farmers are now practicing or at various stages of transitioning from chemical farming to natural farming. Now, how did we achieve the scale as well as the sustainability? It's 9 years now. So how did we manage to sustain this movement for so long, 9 years, and still going strong? I think the first and foremost, and this forum is very appropriate for that, I think it's the responsibility lies in the governments to have the skin in the game. That's very, very important, because you just can't get the scale without the governments believing in this transition. We had a vision, the state had a vision 8 years back, that we will universalize natural farming in the state. Universalize. Of course, the time frame we haven't fixed, because, and there were no subsidies. I'm sure the question involved for me to spell out what are the different financial incentives we provided for achieving the scale. I would like to present to this distinguished gathering that not 1 rupee has been paid as subsidy for the last 9 years, and yet we got the scale and we got the sustainability. And that's because the government believed that it's the only way for reversing the land degradation issue. And then we had an exclusive and dedicated institutional mechanism. This is extremely important. You just can't have the same ministry or the same department to simultaneously handle the chemical farming as well as the natural farming, which is exactly the opposite. In fact, right at this transition stage, as secretary to the department, I sometimes feel I'm schizophrenic, because in the morning I talk about supplying urea to the farmers, and in the evening I talk about zero fertilizers. For a government to handle, unless you're really convinced that transitioning to natural farming is important, you will not be able to do that. The invisible woman farmer. In the traditional system, in the conventional chemical farming, the woman farmer is invisible. At least I can talk about it in the Indian context. But in the natural farming, woman is the hero. The women collectives and women farmers are the core of the behavioral change process, because this transition just doesn't happen. It's a behavioral change. And for that to happen, I keep saying it's the DNA. That's the difference between the woman and the man. And women take to such behavioral change, permanent change, more effectively than men. Positive health impacts of consuming enough products is the biggest incentive for women to make the shift. They have actually seen those who practice natural farming and they consume the natural farming products. The women actually see the difference in the health profile of themselves, their husband, and the children. And that's how the conviction forms. The increased net incomes due to decreased cost of cultivation are an added bonus to the woman, because the natural farming involves no costly inputs, and therefore the net incomes go up, and this the woman is able to discern better than the men. The huge environmental impacts of natural farming in terms of improved soil health, biodiversity, water savings, soil moisture, soil temperatures resonate very well with women. Men are more into yields and profits. The change happens very slow in men. The women clearly realize the health impacts, the environmental impacts, and that's how we have women leading this natural farming movement in our state. So therefore, replication and the scale is through conviction, not through financial incentives. As I've said, there are no subsidies. Subsidies may initiate the process, but you just can't sustain giving tokens, financial tokens. The remarkable resilience shown by natural farming crops to floods, cyclones, and droughts, and to pest attacks is further strengthening this conviction. I'm just coming from the state, and we had Cyclone Montha hitting our coastline just about a week back. And there is evidence on the ground that the natural farming crop sustained while the chemical farming crop launched. Hundreds, thousands of acres of paddy is lodged for those farmers who practice chemical farming, and the natural farming crop, stands still. The APCNF deconstructed the complex external institutions driven, I keep referring to this, with no skin in the game, into simple technology. Most of the recommendations from the institutions, the universities, are by people who they have never touched the soil. While in APCNF, we completely deconstructed agriculture and made it mostly DIY farming, do-it-yourself farming. It's very simple, based on 9 overarching general guidelines and very flexible for a small landholder to navigate easily, vis-a-vis a very complex, high-cost, and high input-based conventional farming, even sometimes with the fertilizer companies giving the messages on how to do agriculture. APCNF is based on a modern and emerging science of regenerative agriculture and is not the same as traditional agriculture practiced as forefathers. Sometimes in India, people refer to natural farming as Vedic agriculture, but it's not. It's the most modern, and I'm very proud to say that we are able to discern the science behind what normally people say as miracles under the natural farming. Why a natural farming crop doesn't lodge? It's because of epigenetics, because we looked at the cell structure and we found the natural farming practices have even impacted the cell structure of the plant. We have evidence. And finally, APCNF shifted the paradigm from crop-centric and yield per acre obsession. The entire agriculture ministry has only one KPI, which is yield per acre. And we've shifted that to farmer-centric. Profitability per acre. We are not talking about yield per acre. We are saying let's focus on profitability per acre, and this profitability per acre will take care of your food concerns. I'll end with a request to the FAO that next year's 2026, the State of Food and Agriculture report should actually be called the State of Farmer and Agriculture report, because without farmer, there's no food. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that really interesting and inspiring example. And